Hey guys, off the Mike Sports Network, giving you some of my takeaways from the bracket reveal selection Sunday. A wild bracket reveal with a lot of just intriguing things going on, and we'll as we get through the week, sort of break down some of my takeaways from this. But the big takeaway is North Carolina gets into the field, and this is just a wild sequence of events that happened in terms of the Tar Heels getting in. And I cover the ACC now, and I'm here to tell you I'm stunned. And I'm very rarely stunned. There's things that are weird that happen in March Madness, but when a team that was in the last four buys and a team that was, one of the first or second teams out and only beat one team in quadrant one, which was UCLA, which, let's be real, UCLA is not that great of a team this year. They're not going to go win the national title. This is an average UCLA team at best. That's North Carolina's best claim to fame in quadrant one. 1-12. And they're playing in March Madness. I understand the brand of North Carolina. Michael Jordan played there. James Worthy played there. Dean Smith, all these great players, Tyler Hansborough. I've worked with John Henson. There's a lot of, big time names across the sport that have won national championships. They won in 2017, Roy Williams, Dean Smith. Like you could go down the list. Vince Carter played there. There's so many legends in the game that have played at North Carolina. But this team went 0-3 against their rival Duke, which was the best opportunity for them. They played Auburn, didn't beat them either. They went 1-12 in quadrant one. Yet they are in March Madness. And West Virginia, a team that I thought was going to be in, and let's call it what it is. This was the Jordan Travis situation, except in college basketball. Tucker DeVries, the son of Darian DeVries, the head coach, has been out hurt. Yet, West Virginia is not playing. I think this is a joke. I think this is a joke. Indiana, who, yes, their coach is on the way. Indiana doesn't get it. Boise State playing for their conference championship in the Mountain West that has the same amount of bids as that is the same amount of bids. I think I have the same amount of bids as the ACC, yet they're not playing. That's ridiculous. Now, the committee said that North Carolina would have been out had UAB beat Memphis. And this is not to disrespect anything that North Carolina has done in the past, but this is basically, I just don't understand how you can justify putting them in this field. And that being said, this could totally get validated because we have seen this many times before, but not to this level, because to me, this was a big time whiff. And they're not going to be able to escape the conspiracy theory that the athletic director was the athletic director of North Carolina, Bubba Cunningham, was the selection committee chair. And that's not going to escape these people. Like, they did it the right way. They had the vice chair. I think his name's Keith Gill. And he goes in front of the media and addresses every single thing about North Carolina. You just can't convince me that the Tar Heels are one of the 68 best teams and deserve to be in this tournament as an at-large team. Had they won the ACC tournament and beaten Duke and, guaranteed their spot, much like NC State did last year, I would absolutely be okay with this because there's no arguing they automatically qualified. They're not an at-large team. You can't go 1-12 in quadrant one, which is supposed to be the best quadrant in America. You had 3 opportunities to beat Duke, one of which Cooper Flagg, the best player in college basketball, did not play in. You had a lane violation that disrupted that from happening. I thought North Carolina was done. I am stunned. I am flabbergasted. And I very rarely do and I love March Madness. I very rarely get stunned like I did when I saw that they were in this field. And early on, there was no drama. Early on, they're one of the last 4 in. Like, that was just, there's many people that I trust in the sport, in the world of college basketball, that cover this sport, that I work with, and that some that I lean on. They were as stunned as I was in terms of why this is happening. Like, let me give you guys some numbers here. Like, the teams that they were up against, Texas did get in. Indiana did not. Boise State did not. Let me just give you the metrics in quadrant one. So in quadrant one, you had a 1-12, mark for North Carolina, 7-10, because, Texas is playing some of the best teams. But then you got 3-6, 6-10, 4-13. they're below every single one of the other teams in this matchup that I sort of created here. Like, look, I understand that the brand recognition is part of this, but and I understand some of this is just a made for TV product, but at some point you got to put the best teams in the field. And the reality is North Carolina didn't beat anybody. They didn't beat anybody. They played a lot of good teams, but they didn't beat anybody. And this look, North Carolina did have a good stretch down the end of the year, and that's somewhat of an argument. But had they beaten Duke, this would have been a much easier conversation to have. And hey, they beat Duke, then they go play Louisville, and they beat them in the ACC championship. Then this is not a discussion. But the way that this whole thing was laid out, you knew somebody was going to get screwed. But I did not factor it into my mind that North Carolina was ultimately going to be the team that was going to benefit from all of this in a power conference and get it. That being said, the ACC, a conference that I now cover, it's not shocking that they got the benefit of the doubt here, but you just look at a lot of these metrics and it doesn't make a ton of sense to justify it and let the conspiracy theories start rolling that North Carolina got the benefit of the doubt because they're North Carolina. They are North Carolina. They are one of the most rich tradition programs in all of college basketball. They are the bluest of blue bloods. So we'll see if we've seen this before. The committees has put some questionable teams in, and they've gone on runs. UCLA was one of them years ago in that famed first four to the Final Four. And maybe North Carolina is that team to do that. We'll see. But every person that you talk to that covered college basketball said that this wasn't a tournament team if they didn't beat that Duke team. And there's people that I trust that watch the games and are way more in on this and have a lot more invested in a lot of these games than I do. And, I lean on them. What I saw through the course of my time covering the ACC the last couple of months, they didn't look like a tournament team to me either. But, their season continues. It sucks for a team like Boise State. It sucks for a team like West Virginia. It sucks for a team like Indiana. But unfortunately, the Tar Heels are in, these teams are out, and that's just the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as Walter Cronkite once said. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We're going to have a lot more content coming here. We're getting close to 700. We're getting close to 800 subscribers. A lot of my wrestling content is done really well. Hopefully my March Madness content will interest some of you to subscribe to the channel. This is not just a wrestling channel. This is a sports channel. So thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye.